Today is Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. This is Bridgewater's Community Preservation Committee's monthly meeting. Before we call the meeting to order at 6:35 p.m., just want to read a quick disclosure. Pursuant to Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2020, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency and the June 30th, 2027. We're up to 2027? Extension granted by Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. This meeting for the town of Bridgewater will be fully remote and accessible to the public through remote participation to the greatest extent possible. No in-person attendance is permitted. Citizens who wish to tune in to the meeting may do so via Zoom. Okay, we call to order. Chair's announcements. For once, I have a lot. First off, Carlton and I, as chair and vice chair, continue to have monthly officers meetings with the town manager and Josh. If the town manager can't make it, we give our items to Josh, who gets the answers for us. So those have been continuing. Today we met with Bob Ruley, the CED director, about Stiles and Hart and the mobile station, but we'll talk more about that when we get to their updates. BTV has put together a history video. It's an AI, but the information was given, the facts for the video were given by David Moore. If you haven't seen it, I suggest looking at it, watching it. I think it's on the town Facebook page, but it's definitely under BTV. That's interesting. Meeting postings on the town website, unfortunately, isn't working right. I looked, didn't see this meeting posted. Josh said it was, you had to click the date that only showed one meeting, which wasn't us, and you had to click that to get to another screen. So hopefully that's figured out at some point. My last thing is, I've talked many meetings till I'm probably a broken record, to get CPC members more involved. So what I'm going to do is, tonight in the updates, I'm going to call out CPC members that are basically liaisons for projects. So be ready. And that's it. Okay, next. Item C, public comment. I don't see any public. Next, item D, approval of meeting minutes. You have January 28th and February 25th. Has everybody had a chance to look at them? Okay, don't everybody speak at once. Okay.
I read
Is
them.
everybody good? Thank you, Maureen. Okay, do we have a motion? We'll vote on them separately. January 28th, do we have a motion to accept?
And so moved.
Thanks, Bill. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. My discussion, my only thing, Josh, before you officially post them, page 4 has like 2 lines on it. When I did the edit, I couldn't get that funky box to go away. Can you just fix that before it's officially posted?
Yep.
Okay. Any other discussion? Josh, roll call on those?
Gina,
Yes.
Carlton,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Pat.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay. February 25th minutes. Everybody read them? Anybody read them? We know Maureen did. Hopefully, if she read the others.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes. I'll make a motion to accept them.
Great. Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a quiet group tonight. Wow. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Josh, roll call.
Gina,
Yes.
Carlton,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Great. Thank you. Moving on, item E, financial report. Again, we're in great shape. We're averaging per quarter, and we've had 3 quarters for tax payments. We're averaging 273.5 thousand per quarter. If that keeps up for the last quarter, the May 1st taxes, it looks like it's projected to be about 194,000 over what we put in the budget. As we always say, we budget conservatively because we're never sure what the state match will be. So that's good. And after all the things that are projects that are encumbered, leaves us roughly 3.2 million. But as we've said before, we potentially have a lot of projects coming in. So we'll see what those amount to. Any questions or discussion on?
Carlton here. Quick point. On the revenue to budget actual, there is a line item, a new line item, 497001, for $73,594. We found out that is actually the reimbursement from this grant for the Stiles and Hart Park. Because of accounting practices, it'll stay up there in the revenue to budget until it closes the books in June, and then it goes back to the proper fund from which that money was taken. So that clears up that $74,000.
Thank you. I actually had it started to mention that, but when I put my
Is that all we're gonna get now because we didn't finish the project timely?
Well, there's a lot of discussion about that, and we can talk about it later. We'll do it right now. Apparently, there were some dates and some submissions that went on. That was part of our meeting today that Gina mentioned. And we've been told that this is all we're going to receive, but I think we've asked the town to enter into a process to see if we can recover more of it. And it gets pretty complex because it has to do with fiscal years and state approval and all sorts of things. Sorry, I don't have a better explanation.
Right. We were advised today, it was advised to actually get the town attorney involved. Basically, because it has to do with the project engineer's contract that, and Carlton, correct me if I'm wrong, that he was part of. He didn't close the contract. It appears that the lady from the state, the Land Water Conservation Fund, I always have to stop and think what the acronym stands for. She walked the grounds, walked the project. As she walked it, she said, yes, this is complete. All you need to do is put up a sign, which wasn't true because the project's not complete. So
Gina,
that's how,
Gina, can you say that again? Because you cut out. So somebody walked the site and said it was done without
right.
looking at any plans or anything?
It was the state contact who makes the final decisions in terms of certain things. She came down. Her first name is Melissa. and she
But we
came
had
down
the,
and
but the contract was issued by the town. Why was the state determining whether something was completed or not?
because that the state was there for the reimbursement part to see if it was complete to reimburse us the amount.
So because the state said it was complete, the contract has just stopped?
Right. We
Apparently.
don't know who from the town actually.
But the state didn't hire the contractor. The town did.
Correct.
So-
You're 100% right, Pat.
And there's a scope of work, and if that project is over, was there an OPM for that project because of the scale of it? Typically, over $1 million is a project manager. Who was the project manager?
Michael Dutton.
Well, not only that, we had a consultant, an engineer who designed the trap, everything else. He was being the person receiving the invoices and forwarding the invoices
Yeah,
to us.
wasn't there a guy named Brennan or something that was the
Yeah,
project
that's what I'm
Right,
manager?
talking about. I'm not going to get into names right now. But we did have a contractor that was actually seeing what was going on. And I don't know if he was called an OPM, but basically had the authority to review invoices, et cetera, from the contractor.
Right. But as far as the town, the project manager was Michael Dutton. And when he left, he handed it off to the
Blythe.
CED director.
Yeah, CD and then Blythe.
Right.
But
So
anyway, the bottom line of this is to not to get too far into the weeds, but there is a process to go back and try to see what we can do to recover more reimbursement. That may take some long time, but we're going to try to pursue it.
Right. So, as Carlton had said, had to do with fiscal years, an extension was granted. The town has a copy signed by the head Land and Water Conservation, and to extend it. But when our finance,
Gina, I'm thoroughly confused. So we have a contract. We have a project manager.
right,
We have a scope of work. We have plans, everything else. Somebody walks the site, says it's done, put up a sign, and we stop work. I think somebody's feeding us a line of BS.
Well, that's what we're trying to find out, Patrick. That's what we're trying to find out.
So
Right.
where is the contract that the contractor signed, and what was paid, and what was done, and what wasn't done?
There is a list that the OPM person sent us that was in non-completed effort elements of the project. We also have the invoice, which was a unit-based invoice project, and we have all of the units that they delivered and the cost for that, and the units they haven't delivered are clearly reflected in that invoice. Okay.
right. So we have, as far as
So who gave us this information?
the CE, well, part of it was given by the finance director via the town manager last week. As to
So after, and I'm not trying to be difficult, but after all this time we've been asking the town for an update why a $1.3 million project gets stopped after what, $400,000?
Mhm.
So 595,000.
And the answer and the explanation we get is because somebody from the state walked it and said put up a sign.
Well, we just
That's-
got that. We just got that today. Finance
I mean,
director,
I think there's something really wrong.
right? The finance director provided backup of her communication with the land grant person, land and water grant person. CED director kind of added to it today.
I
At
think,
this
I think,
point-
I'm going to, we need to stop. If we want to talk about a contract, that kind of thing, I think we should go into executive session at the next meeting.
But,
I'm
but I guess,
sorry.
Calvin, all we're trying to find out is, I mean, for 6 months, we've been trying to find out why a project we approved and funded stopped a year ago, right? Over a year ago.
Yes, and,
Right.
and
The best we're getting from town staff is a woman from the land trust for the state walked in and said, put up a sign.
Mhm.
And
That's
then she signed off on whatever it was, and it resulted, and because of the fiscal year issue, it wasn't written such a way that you could wait to the end of the project, which is what the town was doing to get the reimbursement. It was supposed to be done by fiscal year. That didn't happen. That's why we're going
Mhm.
back to see if we can get the money.
But
right.
there's two different issues. There's the issue of the grant, and there's the issue of the contract to completing the project. Why?
Correct.
So why was the OPM released? Why did he? Where is this guy Brennan that was representing the town?
We have not been able to determine that yet. That is an open question right now.
But we've been trying to get an answer for 6 months to a year on this. Why can't we pick up the phone and call Brennan and ask him why he didn't finish the project?
To quote somebody that we met with today, he's not picking up the phone.
Did we pay him his contract?
As far as I know.
Yep.
So-
Pat, it is confusing. It is
It's not
Definitely.
confusing, Gina. We don't have any information. We don't get
Right,
any
definitely.
information from the town.
right, definitely frustrating. I started over a year ago trying to get answers. You're right. It was a year ago. I talked to Pat Brennan about it. In the summer, talked to him. Hopefully, by getting the town attorney involved, hopefully we'll get some answers. It is frustrating. I've been more than frustrated on it.
At this moment, we can't fix it here on this meeting. We're trying to pursue solutions, and it's just going to take some more time.
Right. So, Pat, all your questions are great. They're absolutely good questions. And it's questions we've been asking, and hopefully,
Can I
We
ask a
can-
question?
sure.
Yep. So, did Bob direct you guys to go through him to speak with the attorney, or is this coming through town manager's
Bob.
office?
He
It-
didn't, and I meant to ask him that before he
Okay.
left the meeting, but I can follow up and ask him, and I'll copy you on it to see.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say if you guys want to put those questions together, and then that way I can follow up with the town attorney, and
Well, let's
but-
let's back up a little bit. I believe the statement was that Mr. Rulli would contact the attorney for that.
Okay, so
Okay.
he will.
The town manager should be involved, correct?
Mhm.
But
Okay.
and there's a paper trail on the quarterly reports. There's all sorts of paper trails, but it's going to take some time to really dig in and see what really happened.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know.
Well,
Okay,
right
thanks,
now,
Jeff.
just follow up with the town manager, please.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay. Anything else for?
We lost Pat, by the way.
Oh, okay. Pat, please come back.
We've got
We still have quorum, so that's okay. Next item F, old business. We have no new applications. Fire for Effect has definitely withdrawn their application for a number of reasons. Some we talked about before, and some new ones, but they have officially withdrawn. I had
Did they send a
notification.
letter, Gina?
Didn't send a letter, but he told me verbally.
Okay.
But I will.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't looking out
Yeah.
for something.
Yeah, no, he hasn't sent a letter, but I did talk with him, and he said it was
What day did you talk with him?
today.
Today. Thank you.
Gina, and I apologize because my phone kicked out. I'm logging into my computer, but so all this is public record. Josh, can we get if Gina, are you okay with it? Can we get a copy of all the contracts for that project and what was paid on each contract to date
Is that
Yeah.
what Lori had sent you guys?
and what's left to be done?
Larry didn't. Um, Josh, you should have, oh, we can get it from Laurie. What was paid from everything would have gone to you to be submitted.
But I think I would like to see, and if I have to do a public records request, I will. I'd like to see all
Pat,
the.
Pat, we have the invoices. There
Yeah.
But I
are,
want to see the contracts and the scope of work and what was signed off on for completion.
yeah, we can get the contract. We'll get that. And also I think there are quarterly reports that we requested today, and those should be come into for us to look at. Yes.
I mean, there's too many issues. An OPM doesn't answer the phone and doesn't finish the job. The contractor just stops. Somebody from the state walks the land and says, "Put up a sign." I mean, it's. I mean, there's serious issues here.
Yep. It's a mess. It's a
Right.
mess.
And Bob Ruley, I asked him for all correspondence between the town and the land water conservation folks. I just want to see everything. I want to see where they requested extensions, who approved them at the land and water management, why the person under them, the person that approved it, why the person under
Has anybody called? I'll call Michael Dutton. Has anybody called Michael Dutton and asked him why he canceled it?
we don't know that he canceled it. It was actually canceled after he was left, after
Yeah.
he left.
It ended after he left.
Right.
And the grant, I believe the grant was to end as of December 31st, 2025, and that may be playing into it also.
Right. But CED director says an extension was granted.
Yeah, right.
So that's what I just want to see all the paperwork on. And Pat, I can share that with you when I get it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is going back to Pat's request. If Gina, if you want to send everything to me, I'll compile it all for everybody in an easy to read document rather than sending 50 documents to you guys, and
Yeah.
then I can send it out to
I would
committee.
rather see the 50 documents. We've been asking for 6 months. Can we get the contracts and what was paid on the contracts and what was signed off on? I don't. We've been asking for a summary for a year. So
Josh, can you get that from Laurie, a report for everything that was paid against that object, that project?
the amount of time we've spent talking about this, I mean, I can't believe how annoyed I am because every month we ask for an update on it. We don't have an update. And tonight the update is somebody from the state walked the land and said, put up a sign. I mean, they must think we're stupid. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
the only thing I'm requesting, because the rest is coming from Bob, is just the line items that were paid.
No,
Right.
Well,
I would like to see all the contracts and what was done on and what was completed on the contracts.
I think Pat's asking for a full set of documentation to include communications, contracts, payments.
There was a contract issued to
Reports.
the general contractor, and there were payments made. There was a total amount. There was a scope of services, and there was. And has anybody talked to the contractor why they stopped work?
It's
We-
not our, it's some,
CPC hasn't, the contract was with the
So-
town, so it would be the town's.
So
responsibility.
Ramco was the contractor, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
So I would like to see the contracts between Ramco and the town, the scope of services, how much was paid, what's outstanding, and the agreement or the cancellation notice.
Yep, we have, the engineer had provided to us last September, I think, had provided to us, because Carlton and I had met with him at Stiles and Hart. He provided to us it was a rather lengthy, multi-page
Well, we want to see his contract too, Josh. We want to see Brennan, the OPM's contract, what he was supposed to be doing, what the project, what his scope was, and how far he went through the contract and what he was paid.
Right. As I said, the engineer had provided us with a lengthy document of everything that was not completed yet. So we need answers for all these things, all these questions. Plus, we can discuss more when we get to the updates for in process projects. I'm sorry. We really should rescope the work. What they have in the original is a picnic area for the end of the sewer easement, but there's no really parking for that. So, but we can discuss that as part of the project when we get to it. Just it really should, the project should be rescoped.
Well, the project, we need to figure out what's not done and what's done, what we paid, what we haven't paid.
Correct.
And what, I mean,
We're going to sit
we've been
down.
asking for this for at least 6 months. I mean, it's just, I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Right.
This is so ridiculous.
Let's move on.
Mhm.
We know the amount of money that's still available for CPC. We agreed today that we would get together and a couple of three of us or some other people, and we will sit down and try to rework what we need to get done so we can continue this project and close it. The other side of the coin is simply, if we can get more grant money. But right now we've got $790,000 that is available for a number of things. So we can talk about that later, please.
Mhm. Okay. And again, as I said,
Just before we move on, though,
Sure.
so we don't keep talking about somebody saying it was done and putting a sign out. We're going to ask for all the contracts related to Brennan and his firm,
Yes.
the
Yes.
contracts related to the construction,
Yes.
what's been paid, what hasn't been done,
Yes.
Yep.
the scope of work,
Josh,
the plans.
Yep.
I think I just interrupted somebody. I don't know who. Josh, do you need something in writing from me to request all those?
It would be helpful, just so I can, uh, keep drilling it into CD to get it over to me.
Okay.
But if, I mean, I got a list here too, so we can
I'll
compare
also
lists.
do a public records request to the town, Gina.
I mean, you don't have to do a public records request, Patrick. You're part of the committee, and you're just requesting information on the project.
And I want to make sure we have it for the next meeting because we've been asking for an update on this for 6 months, and we have no update.
If we're going to do that, let's not ask two different ways toward either we do you do the public records or we go through the process and the minutes will reflect exactly what we're asking for.
I'm fine with Josh doing it, but we
Yeah.
need him.
Right. I would say
Agreed.
if we just put it all together, what we need.
Well, I think we talked about what we need. I mean, it's
Right.
It's a recording
I
of this. We want all the contracts of the
Mhm.
people for the engineer, for the person overseeing the project,
Mm-hmm.
for the person doing that won the bid, and we want sign offs, what's been done, what hasn't been done, what's been
Mhm.
paid, and in any correspondence, somebody canceled the contract and there was an agreement to cancel the contract. A contractor doesn't just stop work. And I'd like to know what happened to Brennan and his contract and how much he was paid, and if he was paid the whole thing, why he didn't finish the job. I mean, other people
Right.
may want other stuff, but this is, I don't know who was running this project, if it was CED or what, but it's a disaster.
Right. I think it was passed on to the CED director by town managers 2 town managers ago.
So let's not do any more. I think let's get the information in front of us, synthesize it and go from there. Because otherwise we're just batting our lips.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay. No, okay. Moving on. I guess we're up to project updates because we received no eligibility forms. First Parish church windows, Bill, any update beyond that we're waiting for good weather?
That's what I heard in February when I talked to Debbie Baumgart. They're waiting for good weather, so I haven't had an update since then. She said in the spring they were starting, and spring, of course, this was last Friday. So I will check in with her again to see see if there's any movement. Most of this work's being done in the restorer's workshop in Middleborough, and then he brings the completed restored windows and installs them in the church.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Correction in the agenda. I put Hanson's Farm. It should be Hanson Farm.
So the Hanson Farm,
Well, yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I'm
the
sorry.
Hanson Farm, I think we have let everybody know April 13th, we will have a ceremony from 4 to 5:30, 6 o'clock at the Hanson Farm, where we will invite a number. We've already set an agenda, a program for that. We are inviting, basically, we'll recognize people who are there. We'll have a little thing about how we got there, describing the history of it. Then we have a state representative to provide some words. And then we've invited a number of people that are involved in the program, including Justin Casanova Davis, Lori Guarini, Finance Director, Blythe Robertson, former interim town manager, and Michael Dutton, town manager. I don't know if they've all responded yet. Joss is responsible for getting that done. We're also asking for the municipal vulnerability program representative to come. We will have Scott McFadden from the Wildlands Trust there. Gina will speak from the CPC perspective. We want Eileen Heine, who was heavily involved with this, to speak. The Conservation Commission, I'm not sure. They were involved. They had to make some decisions. We need somebody there. I don't know who it will be. Town Council would have the president of Town Council speak. The Parks and Rec Commission, we need somebody there. And we also, as I think I mentioned earlier, we have invited Stuart Seganar, who's the director of the coalition, to come down. And if we can get this training session pulled together for multiple towns here in Bridgewater, then he will come down. If we don't get it done, he will not be here. And then we have the Hanson family speaking, and then we have potential refreshments, and then maybe if the wet conditions are okay, the mud's gone, we'll have some walk in the trail.
Mm-hmm. One of the
Good.
things we talked about, and Carlton just mentioned it in there, is refreshments. We were thinking possibly buying ice cream from Sugar Hill. What we would have to do is take it from admin funds. I don't know what people think of that, committee members. I don't know what it would cost for.
Well,
However,
I spoke with them, and they have some ice cream that are frozen. They don't open the ice cream stand until 5 or 6 days after the weekend after we have
Right.
the ceremony. But they may have some select few flavors of ice cream
Okay,
at the farm now. But we'll work that out.
right. But if we're going to pay with the admin funds, we should vote on it tonight. Because we're not going to have another meeting prior to the event.
Okay.
Do you want to leave the amount just open, or do you want to say we're paying up to so much money?
Um,
How are you going to handle that?
Good question.
Thank you.
Well, we're not talking about a huge amount of money.
Right,
We're talking
right.
I would
Um,
suggest
more
that we,
$1,000, thousand maybe.
I was going to say
was-
up to $100, but
I think it'll
I
be
was
more than that.
right. I was thinking 150. We don't know how many people will be there, what it will cost. So that would be my thought.
And it's just going to be ice cream.
Yeah,
unless somebody else wants to help produce something.
right. Unless it's ice cream and water or soda, if people want a beverage too.
Gene,
What
if you
what do
needed
you
me
guys
to,
think?
I could go and run to the grocery store or something before prior to the event. If you guys needed
Okay,
somebody to pick up stuff.
okay. That's
So,
good.
so
Thank you,
let me
Josh.
ask the committee, what would you like to have for refreshments, if any?
Lobster. Just kidding, Carlton. Sorry.
I don't have the defense budget.
Okay. Okay. Great answer.
Sorry.
But Carlton's question, what would people like to see there for refreshments?
If
I think
anything.
ice cream and water. Ice cream would be very appropriate with Hanson's Farm, with Sugar Hill, and water for anybody who doesn't want ice cream. Just, if we're going to walk on the trail or whatever, I think that would be more than adequate
Thank you.
and
Right.
very appropriate.
I know that when the Murray Needs Farm for their little ceremony, they had a cake. Should we do a cake you can get from Roach Brothers, or you could get from like BJ's or one of those places that are very reasonable prices. Just a thought.
Yeah,
As much as I like cake, I would say it adds a whole nother complexity to it. You've got to make sure you have knives, or people might want
That's
forks
true.
and plates and all the other things that go
That's
with it.
true.
Probably just as mentioned earlier, ice cream and some bottles of water.
yeah, I think that's
Okay.
the simplest.
Right. Okay. Um, what do we think for an amount? Like I said, I was thinking 150 to make sure we covered everything.
How many people do you think we will have? I mean, are invitations going out? Is this going to be publicized? Do you think we'll have people from the community? I mean, I haven't seen anything online about it. I don't look at the
Right.
Facebook,
We
but
we haven't put anything online yet. We're just finalizing everything, but once it's set and we have the program and invitation, we can get it posted. Josh can get it posted on the town's webpage. At
And
the
Gina, for the invitation and the flyers, is that something you need me to work on?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I
I
think
would
we have a
say.
deadline to you for the final agenda program on this Friday. So, and then
Yeah, I
you would
planned
do
on
the
getting it over.
advertising and all that, right?
Yeah, I was going to create like a flyer and everything, and then I wanted to get it over to our PR department by the 1st for 2 weeks of advertising.
Thank you.
Mhm. Good, thank you.
even though we didn't allocate a lot of money for this as we had planned, this will give us an opportunity to toot our own horn and
Mhm.
demonstrate to the community that this is how we use CPC funds. And these are tax dollars at work. I mean, everybody that I've talked to is thrilled about the Hanson project. I haven't heard
Mhm.
a single negative comment about it. So we really ought to, celebrate it as I think it would help us in the long.
Mhm. And that's kind of, Bill, why we suggested later afternoon to hopefully get people there with their kids, get more of the public there as
Yeah.
opposed to just dignitaries and us.
But it is a Monday. It is a Monday.
Correct.
The 13th is a Monday.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
You're
So-
going to need, Gina, you're going to need more money. If you need to put an amount out there, maybe you don't, but you're going to need more. If you're going to invite all these people, ice cream's going to cost way more than that. And of course, you can check with the Hanson family and see how much they're thinking it would cost to have them get that available for us.
Okay, Kelton, were you just a thumbs up or were you waving your hand?
No, I've already had some conversations with them, but I'm not going to get into it here. We need to move
Okay.
on.
Okay. I would put an up to amount, and if it goes more, then we can just vote it the next meeting. But I think I know what Calton's alluding to.
So I would move to spend up to $200 for refreshments at the Hanson Farm dedication program
Mhm.
And that's from
Second.
the administrative fund.
from the administrative funds.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Josh, roll call.
Gina,
Yes.
Carlton,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Great, thank you. Stiles and Hart update. I think we beat that one to death earlier.
I just want to
Melissa?
add one thing. We are going to put together possibly a subcommittee here to actually sit down once we get the information and try to redefine the scope of service that remains. But the scope may change because one of the things we talked about today is the accessible trail that goes in at the gate where the sewer line goes. You really can't, there's no effective parking near there. So the concept right now, and we need to work with it a little bit more, would be to go ahead, and the Stiles and Hart application indicated we could pay for engineering for a bridge to go from the Town River Landing area across, and it's on the upland part of it, across the river, and a trail that connects into what's already in the plan for a rail trail that goes down from the old rail track that took bricks in and out of the area. So that's something we need to sit down with a smaller working group to actually redo the scope once, especially once we have
Carlton, I don't think we want to do any of that until if the contractor hasn't fulfilled his obligation and there's an existing scope, then they need to fulfill that obligation, or we have to take legal action against them if they walked off the job. I think
I'm not going to go down that question right now. I hear what you're saying.
But I think before we have a working group, we need to find out what happened and
Correct.
why the original scope of work wasn't completed.
Mm-hmm. I agree, Pat.
Okay.
I
I'm
have
just trying to explain where we were headed, but that's fine.
No, that's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It is a step in the process. So thank you for that. I think that's important too. I don't know if once we get to the bottom of what happened, I don't know if the scope can be amended because, as Carlton said, there are other things that should be changed on it. I have a question though. If it was talked about a bridge going to Town River Landing for parking, potentially parking over on that side.
No, it's not for parking. It's for access to the park itself for people with disabilities.
Right, but where would the people with disabilities park? They can't park in the regular lot.
They can park in the Town River Landing parking.
Right. So my question for that is, Fire for Effect has a license for that property. They have events planned there as part of their license there they can do. How is setting up parking? They have for access to Stiles and Hart Park, which I think it's a good spot for parking. But how is that affected both ways? How is the license for use to Fire for Effect for that property affected by the town possibly putting in parking? And how does parking,
I never said anything about putting parking in.
you just said that
It would
what I said,
enable parking. We have a parking lot there already. It would enable people to come visit the park through that parking spot.
right? But are you talking the more towards the river for parking?
No,
You're talking towards the street.
yes.
Okay.
I think this needs to be as before. David, go ahead.
I think, leaving a lot of those finer details aside, just the physical aspect of getting from a parking lot at the front of Fire for Effect area to the river, down a steep riverbank to a bridge. I think you're looking at a lot of physical problems that can be completed. They can be overcome, but I think it would be a huge expense.
The way the thing would be set up and engineered, you would not be going down a steep embankment for people to go across the bridge. It would go across, if you look at, I need to show everybody the diagram, but if you really look at the topography, right up in the northernmost part, you go from upland to upland across the river. It's probably 100 feet. And there are composite bridges. We talked with Mr. Rulli about that today. There are composite bridges that can be built off-site and dropped in if the engineering's done correctly. So I don't see the canoe launch. Yeah, that's an issue. But the bridge into the park from that location is not going to be hilly up and down. It will be an accessible bridge, but we have to do some more work on it. And I
Yeah,
think Pat's correct. We should just kind of hold off on that. I was just trying to get the park thing done, but that's me. But thank you, David,
Mhm.
for that.
Yep. Thanks to both of you. Okay. Anything else for Stiles and Hart? Moving on, Hemlock Drive window replacements.
Yeah, the weather delayed them a little bit. I got a note from today. The weather delayed them a little bit. They got some curtains to hang and a couple of other window things to be done. And basically, they are expected to have the contractor back up and working at next week and getting it done quickly. I think even though our finance doesn't reflect it, the separate tracking form that we have, there are several invoices that have been approved for payment and just haven't hit the finance records. They have about $49,734 left in their contract. So the curtains, that kind of thing. So I expect to see them close it out within the month. But the weather
Okay,
kind of caught
good.
them, as all of us caught us all
I
a
was
little
going to say
bit short.
the weather caught all of us. Okay, you said about 49 and a half thousand.
I calculate 49,738, something like that.
Okay, good.
But
Thank you.
they send us a record every time they send invoices. They have a spreadsheet where they're tracking our CPA funds against budget.
Good. Thank you. Townhouse interior historical architect assessment. I'm getting better at saying that.
Josh, can you update us where that's at?
Yeah, I actually just got a update from Chris this afternoon. He said that he's spoke to three engineer consulting firms, including Joe Booth, and he has walked one of the firms through the building with the other to come and tour the building as well. So he said that he's looking to have estimates in hand by next week.
Thank you.
So as soon as
Thank
I
you.
get those, I will get them out.
Great.
Are they
Thank
going
you.
to provide quotes, not just estimates?
Yeah, yeah. I think maybe he misspoke on that.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Any other discussion on that? The interior assessment. Okay. Multifunctional fields. Pat, fill me in. First, you were the liaison.
I asked for
Then
an update. I asked Mark Thomas for an update today, and it appears that he had mentioned that it looks like they're moving forward with Larry Silva's firm to do the work.
So they've got quotes in?
I don't know. I just asked where it was, and it looks like they're underway, or they're getting underway with.
Well, if we did an RFP, which is required due to the amount.
No, I believe the amount allowed them to go get 3 bids from individual firms without the RFP process. So from what I understand was they initially went through that rigid RFP process. They realized they didn't have to, so they went out and solicited 3 bids, I believe.
Josh, can you fill us in on that? Because I thought it was being sent back out by your office.
Yeah, I'll check. I haven't received anything, so I'll follow up on that.
Right.
That's all. That's my update. That's all I know.
Okay, and I'd hate to see them going forward with Silver Engineering if we do have an RFP out there, or soliciting quotes. You're right, for the amount, it's quotes. But if, I guess I'm confused on this too. If it was being put out by the town manager's office, who's the procurement person, how did they get their quotes and they're proceeding with the work? That's my question. That who solicited the quotes if it wasn't part of the procurement process? I know Jim Small will, like things for Parks and Rec, if he just needs quotes, he'll do it on his own. Did he ask for the quotes for this? Where if he did, he was also working with the town manager's office. So I'm not kind of confused. I am confused.
Didn't the town manager assign him to do the efforts for that?
Yeah, I was actually gonna jump in. The town manager did direct Jim to do this.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Good.
We weren't receiving the quotes. His department was.
Okay. Good. Thank you for making me not confused, which isn't an easy job at times. But thank you, and thank you, Pat, for the update. Cemetery assessment.
My turn again.
Yep, your turn.
We got one quote in that was much, much higher than what we had thought it would be. So we've gone back. We had a conversation. Actually, the quoter wanted to have a meeting. We had a discussion with them. After the meeting, Gina and I, and I'm not sure who else, talked about rescoping that, and we decided to remove the historic investigation part of that because we think that may have been a really big, expensive piece. So we've removed that, and we are planning to go out to bid because the cost for 10 cemeteries was really high. We changing the scope to still provide cost estimates without the historic piece in it for assessing the parks. But we also said we would ask for quotes if they did 3 cemeteries or all of them in one setting. So give us a different price for the whole packet together. I did find out that there is a cemetery off of Titicut Street that is historic, but it's not on the historic register in Massachusetts. So I've added that to as a walkthrough. If they only came in and did a deep assessment of 3 cemeteries, what we said in the scope is to actually just walk through the other cemeteries and say whether or not we really ought to pursue restorations, that kind of thing. Just a very simple walkthrough to try to get the price down, and that this one will go out to bid.
Great, thank you. Questions,
And
comments on?
can I actually just ask a question?
Sure.
So Carlton sent me the RFQ for to work on with the because I think you had it as a PDF form.
Yeah.
So is that something we could maybe all meet about and just finalize that with the other things that we have on our list?
I would love to sit down and go through it and get the proper format, because RFPs are, you have to be really right and have deadlines and all that kind of stuff,
Yep.
qualifications. So I'm happy to do that. I just put the scope together and figured the town would be able to fill in the other parts, and you're the town.
Yeah, if we could, if when I'm scheduling that meeting, we're talking about if we could just add that to the agenda. I'll clear the day for you guys. How's that?
All right, thank you.
Good,
I just
thank
wanted
you.
the committee to know where we were.
Mhm.
Okay.
Good, thank you. Project updates completed. Broad Street Properties, we touched on that today with the meeting with the CED director, because there's still questions to be answered that Wildlands Trust had asked. So we did bring that up. But basically the project is closed. The final report was accepted pending the CR, and we still don't have the CR. But okay, Summer Street Mobile Station, it's just pending filing of the CR and the final report. We touched on that today too, the CR. Bridgewater Improvement Association has offered to hold the CR because the town itself can't hold its own CR. The CED director was going to ask the town attorney to draft up a CR. So hopefully that's done soon. Parthenon Freeze, the council has approved the additional funding and the funding of the storyboard. Carlton, do you want to tell us about the storyboard?
I've spoken with Bridgewater Trophy, who gave us a quote for the storyboard. We decided on the color scheme, that kind of thing, and he's going to mock it up and provide it to us for, I guess, me to approve. But it will be, it's not completely decided. The signs that are in the Academy building are a maroon type color, and there's a very close match to this storyboard that we're going to have put up. And there's a border around it, and the lettering could be either gold or silver. In the town, it's silverish. So I think it probably will end up being silver, just to make sure that everything works together. And then we will have, in the storyboard, we numbered each of the frieze, each of the artwork with a number, and we will put a number below each one of the art pieces of artwork. So people that come in, if they read the storyboard, they can look up and see which one we're talking about. If they look up and see the two, they can go over to the storyboard and read that. So that's hopefully a work that will get done sometime in the next 2 months.
Good, thank you. I'm still amazed every time I walk into that building. Just to freeze. I think they look great. Potential projects. Jenny Leonard Park. We've kind of beaten that one to death too.
Do we
Josh,
have any
can-
update? I know we were waiting for an update on that one with the land transfer from Long Built Homes to the town. Did we get an update on that?
Mhm. I haven't, Josh, can you check with, last I knew, it was still in discussion between our town attorney and Oldfield Estates attorney.
Yeah, the last update that I received was that it was in the hands of the other party's attorney.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. And if you get any more information.
I don't know if
send it
that's
off.
necessarily accurate. I know the other attorney for the Long Bill Homes, Attorney Castanetti, has been telling us that he's been waiting for the town. And that's why we've asked for this update. So
I mean that's what that's the update the town manager gave me for that.
Mhm.
If you have a better contact for the attorney to push it back, then that'd be great.
Josh,
so
can you just check with the town manager and say that there's some feedback out there that maybe the town is not completely just
I
opinion.
I know from the planning board perspective, the everything is done, and the basically what the town was waiting for was a drainage structure to be redrawn, which was done, and then the town was to decide if they're taking it or not. I know that we've held up the road acceptance for that neighborhood, and it's in the town's hands to decide if they're taking that or not. And a bunch of people recommended that we do take it. So
Mhm.
Okay, I will ask him again.
More
Great.
confusion.
can you, as soon as you find that answer, could you email it to us, Josh?
Yep.
So we don't have to wait another month?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Basketball courts, as we said before, a lot is getting quotes affected by the weather. As we said, it probably affected everything. And Jim Small, Parks and Rec superintendent, at this point is working on getting fields ready for the start of like baseball, softball, little league. So once he gets through all those, hopefully we'll have some answers. David, I think, can you talk about the restoration of the Osamaquin hand pump? Because I think you've been in contact with the firefighter.
I've been in contact with Glenn,
Right.
Greg. And we're just waiting to see his application to the extent of the restoration that they're looking for. He sent us an email, and he talked about many things that they wanted to do. And I just wanted to see it in writing. Then I wanted to go over there and take a look, or we wanted to go over there and take a look, because like I said before, it doesn't look like it's in that rough a shape, but we'd like to see a written estimate on what they want to do. We're in complete agreement that we want to see it preserved. There's no doubt about that. It's just the extent of the restoration, and then there was a question as to where it was going to be displayed. And he did give us 4 possible locations inside the building. One of them was in the equipment bay, and we didn't think that was a good idea. We were afraid somebody would back into it and so forth. They did say that they can't tow it in a parade. They can put it on a trailer and display it, but they said their union contract or insurance reasons wouldn't let the firefighters pull the wagon. So we're just waiting to hear back from him, maybe some more information.
Good. Thank you. I remember that being pulled. It shows how old I am.
Yeah.
In the David, you too.
Yeah, I do also.
Yep.
It's quite a sight to see the firefighters pulling it.
Yep. Okay, good. Thank you. Carlton Historical Pictures.
Oh yeah, all I know is they delivered the historical pictures up to Andover area where the restoration company is supposed to give them estimates for restoration. That's the
Okay,
last I've heard, and yeah.
good.
So-
The next 2 playground accessibility in townhouse and match the multicultural grant. The town hasn't received notification of an award of the grant, so that'll be coming up. Playground accessibility. The Disabilities Commission met with Parks and Rec, and I haven't heard an update. David Frum was going to be working with Jim Small on what equipment will fit. Disabilities Commission was going to get prices because they had in the presentation they had given us and also what they presented to Parks and Rec. It was an extensive list of equipment. They weren't two things. One, it may definitely exceed anything that they're able to spend right now. The other is how much of that equipment will fit at Marathon Park. But it was decided that we Parks and Rec asked them to put together a priority list. And it was agreed by Disability and Parks and Rec that the ground surface to a rubberized surface should be the number one priority. So David from Disabilities was working with Jim Small from Parks and Rec to get a price on that, how many cubic feet, square feet, however, ground covering is measured, to see how much they need and to get a price. It was brought up from a resident to when they look at the ground surface, the rubberized surface. The resident was talking more about the track at Legion Field, potential track at Legion Field, but it would also apply to the rubberized surface at Marathon Park to try to get a surface that is PFAS free, or at least the least amount. And Jim Small has agreed to look at that criteria. Talk about this down now. Study recreational land.
Is the Parks and Rec going to submit the eligibility, or is the Disability Commission?
I believe disability.
Okay, just checking.
Yep. Study recreational land. I have to talk to Parks and Rec to see if that's still something they're interested in. Last time I spoke to them, they said yes. But I will bring it up at our next meeting again. Track at Legion Field is still conceptual ideas. Library renovation, Josh, I think you had an update on that.
Not really an update, just that I plan on meeting with the CPC officers to go over the eligibility of the line items that were presented. I think it was back in December. And we'll go over that and get a eligibility form or eligibility submission from the town manager's office.
Okay, good. Thank you. I lost track where it was. Okay. If anybody, any members or anybody watching the recording, the library renovations, part of it was listed on the capital plan, but next to it, it also said CPC. So it's shown as a capital expense, but working in conjunction with CPC. They would request CPC funds. Senior Center walking path.
I don't have an update. I haven't pursued that.
Okay, good. Thank you. Josh, moving on to the application eligibility form templates, is the eligibility form that you demonstrated to us in February, is that set? Can we vote on that tonight?
No, and I've got bad news about that. So,
Okay.
IT just let me know that they're switching their form module. So, right now I'm working with James in the IT department. He helped me put everything together last time, so he knows what's necessary. We're just we're waiting until they get the platform ready. So he said he's going to give me a more definitive update tomorrow. That way I can try to get everything ready and hopefully have everything ready for a vote for end of April. So
Right.
sorry about that. It's just that
Yep.
IT, they decided to switch the forum platform, I guess.
Right. And I'm sure they're busy with this whole new web page
Yeah.
that nothing seems to be, I shouldn't say nothing seems to be working. Some things don't seem to be working. Okay, application update would kind of fall into that same thing. Moving on, CPC membership vacancies. Housing Authority, we've been without their representative for a year and a half or so. I've asked multiple times, as most recent as last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, for them to appoint somebody. And I haven't heard yes, no, maybe, go away. So we'll keep pursuing that. Conservation Commission, we hit on last time that Harry Bailey, who is the Conservation Commission representative, has moved out of town. We have nothing official, but a friend of mine ran into Harry actually at a grocery store in Wareham, and Harry said he has officially moved. I don't know if that's official enough for us. Josh has tried reaching out to him with no answer.
Yeah, Tina Larson also, the town clerk, she also reached out to him. And she said she hasn't heard back. So
Okay, I'm going to try his daughter.
well,
I tried.
if it's helpful, CED reached out to me and they let me know that he's no lot that they consider him moved, and to
Okay,
remove him as a Concom member. So I think that's about as much of a paper trail as we'll get for that.
right. Okay,
But
so
if you want to get something, if you still want to get something from him, that's you can just send it to me.
right. Okay, so I can write to the chair of the Concom and said with Harry gone, could they appoint somebody else?
Yeah, I think that's the process that we discussed with Justin, that we're gonna go ahead and have you guys get a letter together and then submit it on behalf of the committee.
Mm-hmm. Good, thank you. I hate to see Harry go. Harry was a good person to have on. He was on CPC. Heck, he was on it when I joined many years ago. Um, okay, second citizen at large position. It should be a second reading for the council. I think it's a second reading coming up at the next meeting, which is April 7th, maybe. Um, I think. So once that's, hopefully the council approves it. And what that is, just a reminder, it's taking our affordable housing trust position and turning it into a second at large, because affordable housing trust isn't active right now. Once that's approved by the council, Josh, can you start the whole process? Because people need to apply for that, correct?
Yeah, as soon as that's ready, I can put an advertisement on the website and we'll um, start getting it posted that we have a vacancy.
Okay, good, thank you. New business. I did have a new business, but I think I'm just going to put it as, or actually we'll put it as new business. Calton had alluded to before when we talked about the Hanson Farm ceremony dedication that Stuart Saganor from the CPA Coalition had been invited to come. He said it would be tough to come just for a short ceremony, but if we could combine that with a CPC training training on the same night, um, and it wouldn't be just for Bridgewater. He would then invite all the area towns that have CPCs. So what we're looking at is April 13th, the same night as the dedication, just so we can have that. I remember years ago, there was a area CPC meeting, and Stuart had come down, and it was very, very well received. And this would be similar. Carlton suggested having it at the public meeting room in the new fire station, if that's available. And Josh can look into that. Does the committee agree to hold the training? How many from the committee would be able to attend?
Our committee, right?
Right, our committee.
So what time would that be? 6:30 or?
Yeah, roughly 6.
Probably 6:30, between 6 and 8, something like that. I don't know. I think it's an hour presentation.
Yeah, like 6:30 to 7:30.
Just for my understanding, how big is the room at the new fire station?
I think you can.
Very big.
Very big.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's at least 20, 25, 30, maybe more people.
okay,
I'd
and
say
it's
more.
already equipped for, to do like a presentation in.
Oh
They
yeah.
they're fully equipped for
Full AV.
presentations.
Okay, excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Just wanted to
David.
make sure I didn't need to contact IT to get them to go down there or anything like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
I'd say it holds 50, 60 people. It's a
Okay.
huge room.
And it has chairs and everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
Chairs,
awesome.
tables.
You need to take a tour.
I really do need to take a tour.
Yeah.
It's the one place I haven't been yet, so.
But if all of our committee comes, we need to post it as a workshop.
Yeah, I
Right.
think what I'll do, because we have the event earlier in the evening, I'll just post a meeting for the ceremony, and then from 6 to, what do you guys say, 6 to 8? I can do the
Yeah.
so we'll
The
do
work-
2 postings for that day.
But
Right.
just as
And
a workshop.
Yep.
would you have to post for the ceremony? Because that would be a quorum of us there, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm going to post it. If there's not a quorum, it's not like you guys are calling to order to discuss anything.
Mhm.
But that way if a quorum does show up and you guys start discussing something, at least you'll have the posting set up.
Okay. What about, I hadn't thought of this before, but thinking of the big meeting a number of years ago, we did have refreshments. We had probably pastries and soda and a water. Do we want to do that again for this meeting? If basically,
That's a good question. If the committee would consent that we could buy water or something, I haven't even thought about that. I don't know what to do.
we could probably just get a pastry tray from Roach Brothers or somewhere. Maybe a veggie tray and a pastry tray, water, soda.
Okay, well, they have kitchens there at the fire station.
Right. Maybe the firemen will make us refreshments.
They may come eat it.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway,
So,
yeah, that's a good point.
Well, I think we need to do that.
right. So, again, because it's before our next meeting, we should have a motion to spend admin funds. And
I would
Josh
move-
has volunteered to go to the grocery store.
I move to support I'm going to say I move to support the coalition workshop refreshments out of our admin funds, cost to be determined.
I second that.
Okay, so we don't want to up to, just we're supporting with a cost, a future cost to
It
be.
won't go above $200.
Okay.
It better not.
Two. 200.
Gina, on the fire station, I just thought of something.
Mhm.
The day they were having the open house up there, there's very limited parking, and we should check with the fire chief. I know they do have quite a large seating capacity. There's no doubt about that. But I wonder about bringing the public in for parking. And should there be an event at the fire station, they would need parking for the other teams that they bring in. So I would check with the chief first
Okay,
about
good point.
parking conflicts.
Yep. Josh, can
Yeah.
you check with the chief slots on that?
So, yes, yeah, absolutely. Is it okay if I put this on our list for a meeting to go over everything we want that
Yep.
we're going to request from them? That way I can get it to them all. And
The other convenient fallback of that is just to hold it in the town council's chambers.
that was going to be
Well-
my secondary recommendation if they can't. Do you
Yeah.
guys want me to start planning for that as well? Because I can reserve that room.
Mhm.
I can that's easy enough for me to reserve to make
So
sure nobody else.
If the committee's okay with that, we'll just work on it then.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Is this something you guys wanted advertised similar to the Hanson Farm ceremony?
No, what Stuart, for that training, Stuart would do all that work.
Okay.
right.
Okay, so I'm gonna put on our meeting list just to go over the details of that event. And then in the meantime, I'll just reach out to the fire department, let them know we're trying to plan something if the room is available, details to follow.
Right. Good.
And
good
just ask
point,
them about
David.
limitations on parking.
Right.
Okay.
Good point about the parking. Because I know for the open house, people parked at Scotland Field and they were shuttled down. I parked across the street, the side street, with a number of other cars. So good point. Okay. And again, okay, that was new business. Okay.
Oh, there's a motion on the table.
Oh, that's right. Any more discussion? Thank you, Josh. Any other discussion on it? Okay, Josh, roll call.
Gina,
Yes.
Carlton,
Yes?
Bill,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Patrick.
I'm going to abstain because I lost part of the conversation, so I didn't hear the whole thing. So
It was to host on after the Hanson Farm ceremony. That the coalition, CPA coalition, has suggested having a meeting training session in Bridgewater that he can kind of, I would put together with the coming down for the Hanson Farm ceremony. But it would be
you don't have to you don't have to redo it, Gina. I'll just abstain.
no, it was his motion, Carlton's motion was to support the event cost up to $200 for refreshments.
That's at the Hanson Farm site, correct?
No, this would be for the training session, Pat.
In addition to the other one?
Yes, it's a separate motion.
All right, I'd just be a no then. No.
Okay, thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay. Okay. Was it unanimous?
No.
It was not unanimous, no.
Okay, that's what I thought.
5-1.
Okay. I thought I heard a no in there. Okay. Committee liaison reports. Parks and Rec, I kind of gave a report from as we're going with projects. David, you're muted. David, you're muted.
Still muted.
Yeah.
Lower left corner of your screen.
Yeah, I lost the whole screen for a second.
Oh,
I was talking to my dog. Okay. Yeah, Josh, how's that request going to Maureen? Has it gone out yet to open space?
Sorry, the request.
Yeah, I had sent you an email asking to find out when the next meeting was so I could go to the meeting and explain my request.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard from her. I CC'd you on it. I can ping her
Oh,
again.
okay.
Yep.
Well,
What I did was I just forwarded her your
yeah.
message. And
Okay.
then I CC'd you so she could just
Yep.
reply to both of us. But I'll touch base with her again.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Any in the historical commission, I heard a reference earlier this evening concerning that video that was put together. That's historical commission really has nothing to do with CPC, does it? Or is it just news?
Say that
yeah.
again.
I think Gina was just saying that that video is out there and people should look at it. Has nothing
Yeah.
to do with us. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Right,
you.
Yeah. We had
right.
fun doing it. We hope to do more additions to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, I've heard good feedback on it. Uh, and I was
Just a
told
teaser.
good. Looking forward to more.
Yeah.
Anything else for historical commission?
No.
Okay. Uh, Maureen, open space.
Okay. The only thing I have to report is that there will be a public forum for getting comments about open space and rec plan update that's being worked on. And that'll be April 16th at 6 p.m. at the college at the Dana Moloff. I can't remember his name.
Molafari.
But yeah, you're closer. Anyhow, the Science and Math Center.
Mhm.
And of course, all is welcome with comments and
Okay. Do you have a time for that?
6 p.m.
6. Okay. Good.
Is that going to be recorded? Do you know, Maureen?
That I don't know. No, I have no idea.
Okay. If it's
Uh,
recorded and you just mentioned it to Eileen, I can get a post on your guys' webpage too.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Um, Bill, you're up.
Yes. Well, I don't have anything to report because we did not have a meeting in March. So
Okay.
I know that the Downtown Revitalization Committee continues to meet and address some of the needs of the historic buildings in the district. I don't know if their ordinance has gone before the town council or not. It was an ordinance that was proposed by the committee and authored by the president of the town council, Johnny Loretti, I think his name is,
Mhm.
to require business owners to keep up their properties in the Bridgewater Central Business District.
Okay. Is that the resolution that was on the last council agenda, but he didn't present because he needed work on it? Was that the same resolution?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I didn't attend the meeting and I've been out of town, so I don't know. But it was supposed to have been presented sometime in March. Yeah.
Okay.
What What I know is that there was one that was on the agenda that would potentially engage the CPC and CPA funding for facade improvements, and that was withdrawn.
Okay. I think that was the one that Bill's talking about.
Bill, can I ask you a quick question on that?
Yeah.
So, and I think that's probably going to come to planning board because it's a zoning thing, but I guess I didn't realize, I read the Historic District Commission guidelines that you guys have.
Yeah. I mean, we had nothing to do with this.
No,
This,
no. But what I'm saying is, when was the last time your committee updated their regulations? It looks like they're from the 80s.
no, they were updated around 2000.
Am I looking at an old set online?
I'm not sure.
Because
I don't know.
you guys really don't have much in terms of design standards and maintenance. You guys really don't have any of that. Is that somewhere
Well,
that I can look at?
Well, we don't have any control over maintenance. That's why we were excited about this new ordinance from the that was being generated from the Downtown Revitalization Committee. We cannot require historic buildings to be maintained according to Mass General Law 40C, which is the state law that dictates what we can do.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. Let's
we
get
have three sets of documents that we work from. We work from Mass General Law 40C. We
All right.
work from the bylaw, the Historic District bylaw that was passed by town committee vote in the 80s. And then we have rules and regulations, which we continue to update, forms, which we update, and so forth and so on. But the rules and regs were last updated around 2000.
I think it would be helpful. I mean, if that
All of that's
your rules and regs and the map of the historic district aren't even online, aren't even on the town website.
Yeah.
So I don't know if as chair of that committee, if you could ask the town manager to make sure that the historic district map ends up online as well as the regulations.
Yeah, we could certainly ask that. Josh, do you think we could do that?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to jump in and say. Send it to me, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who's sending you what? The town should have them. I think I had to get the historic district map from the town clerk. So
No, I'm saying send the request for it, and I can get it taken care of for you.
Yeah.
Can we just request it now that those get up online?
Minute to reflect the request.
We'd just like to have the historic district map up online as long as they're regulations.
So with the web pages, because I have to submit them to IT, I like to just have a paper trail of the chair asking that the web page is updated with such and such.
I can do that. I can send
Okay.
that to you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Just so I have something that I can send to IT.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The map, the original map that was submitted when the bylaw was passed in the 80s. We've had one addition since then, and that would be those the property where the CVS pharmacy is located. That's in the district as well. That we added that, I don't know, in the late 90s, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Bill, how far down Main Street does the central business zone district go?
The central business district?
The historic district or business district?
I'm sorry, historic district. Thank you.
Oh, historic district. Just to, it includes the corner of the Secocia block and also the Bluestone Bank. Nothing past that.
Okay.
That's not what's online. I saw that it actually goes behind the auto parts place behind there. The line that I saw shows it going behind that building. And I looked at that, the GIS webpage.
What is the auto parts place?
Well, it's where the old grocery store was for you that lived here a long time. There's a laundry facility.
The
If you look at the
Walgreens,
Bluestone Bank,
the Walgreens.
Oh,
look at-
yeah.
Plaza.
No, well, she asked about Main Street. That's not Main Street.
I thought she asked for the boundaries.
She
Yeah, I
asked,
just asked Main Street, but it would be nice to know the boundaries too.
Yeah.
I apologize
Well, that's why we gotta get the map online.
Yeah,
Right.
good idea.
for sure.
Yep. Okay, planning board, Pat, you're up.
I mean, I'm frustrated tonight. I think that we wasted 2 hours tonight. We voted on ice cream and cake and water. I mean, those were the two votes we took, and we need to have meaningful updates. I mean, we've been talking about Styles and Hart for over 6 months. We still have no idea what happened. We've been talking about the Jenny Leonard land, which is really outside of us, but it has to do with planning board and it has to do with recreation for 6 months. We need meaningful updates, or we shouldn't have the meetings, because I mean, tonight is a waste of everybody's time. And I appreciate everybody's time, but it's just every month we talk about updates, and every month the same updates are on there. We have no feedback. If we need the town manager to come to a meeting, if we need the CED director to come to a meeting, then that's what we should do, because we're not getting any answers that we ask for.
Mm-hmm.
So I know at the last meeting we talked about an update, a week or so after, getting an email. We didn't get an update then. We still have no update on Styles and Hart. We still have no update on the athletic fields. No one knows where that bid is. We're getting conflicting information. If we don't have updates on them, we shouldn't even come on the agenda, because we just wasted 2 hours tonight voting on ice cream and water. So, thank you.
Okay, true. Thanks for the comments. Can I ask a planning board question?
Sure.
For Oak Street, the Cummings property, I'm not sure who bought it. It goes from Oak Street, going closer to Main Street, just past Crapo Street, down to the tracks, all the way down to.
Yeah, that's before us now.
Right, and I saw that. I was just reading the Bridgewater Rainham, whatever it is, the email that comes out, the transposed to the meetings. And I was reading about that. Is that 3 duplexes, 4 duplexes?
What's proposed is 4 right now, that with garages, 3 bedrooms. They're nice. They're very attractive. I mean,
Right.
the hurdle there is water and sewer. So we basically opened the meeting up. We heard the applicant. They have to do a water impact study. Mr. Moore might have no more historical knowledge on that sewer line. I didn't understand what the engineer was saying in that line. I think that's like a pressure line, as opposed to a gravity line, and it's not approved by DEP for additional hookups, and that won't be approved for a while.
Okay.
So they may have to do septic there, and they may have to do wells, but that's all up for negotiation and investigation, I guess now. So the builder has taken the next steps to meet with the town and to do a water impact study and to see what's viable up there and what's not viable.
Mm-hmm. Now, where on the property will they be located? Closer to where the house is now? Obviously, the house is going to be bulldozed. But
Yeah, there's 3 on Oak Street and 1 on Crapo.
okay, right, because there is a path that jets out to Crapo. Okay, that was my question. Okay, public comment. We have no public. The next meeting date is Wednesday, April 22nd. We will let you know if it's virtual or hybrid. And I think that's it. I think everybody had good comments tonight. I wish we had answers for some of these things. And hopefully we get them soon and the agenda gets shortened. So if there's no other discussion on anything, one last thing. As I said, I'm going to be calling out folks to give reports on things that would liaisons to different projects. Maureen, I don't want you to feel left out. I'm sure you'll have a project at some point for open space.
And
Or we
Gina,
could give you
and Gina,
the project.
I just think it's, not to belabor the point, but it's tough to be a liaison to a project when you don't know. I made comments on the bid document, and the bid document had gone out before I asked to make the comments, and the bid was wrong and terribly done. Then it gets pulled back, and we don't know where it is, and then I'm told that an engineer has it, and you guys don't even know if it went out. So I just think we need updates.
Per
You know.
Pat, which engineering are you talking? Stiles and Hart or the
No. The one where I was told Silva has it, but then we don't even know if it went out to bid yet. I have no idea if he has it or he doesn't have it. But I was told today that that Silva was the engineer. So
Right. And Josh updated after I was confused. Josh updated and said that the town manager had put it back on Parks and Rec to
correct,
Jim's
yeah.
call to get
Yeah.
quotes.
Right. So I don't know if he got quotes and hired Larry or not. I have no idea.
Right. I'll write to Jim and ask him how they came up with that.
I might make a suggestion. If we appoint a liaison to a project, we need to communicate that to the town manager. So that liaison is in the communication loop.
Yeah, and I think we can
Sure.
do that similar to like what I did with you, Carlton, with the Parthenon freeze.
Thank you.
And just, keeping everybody CC'd and all that. So,
Mhm.
as you guys assign people, just let me know who to keep in the loop, and I'm happy to include everybody.
Right.
Thank you.
And I've been trying to not trying, I have been putting in the award letter, a grant agreement, who from the CPC would be like a contact person. And I'll continue doing that.
I just want to interject that I think we have to keep in mind, and one has to keep in mind, I should say, this is an all volunteer army that we've got here. And Gina and Carlton do yeoman's work for the CPC. And we do the very best that we can under the circumstances, given that we're often kept at arm's length from the town manager's office, at least up until this point. We have a new sheriff in town and things are going better. But it's really not been difficult because the town has always kept its cards close to its chest. And I just want to thank Gina and Carlton particularly for the amount of time and work that they spend on this committee. I mean, I would hate to think how many hours per week they actually spend working for the CPC. And I don't think we should lose sight of that.
One of the things we're trying to
I
do.
think that was my point. I think Carlton and Gina do too much work. I mean, I think the town has to be giving us updates. Josh needs to be getting us updates. They shouldn't have to do as much work as they're doing.
Yeah.
My point, my frustration is not in any way directed at anybody on this committee that's a volunteer. We've been asking for updates from the town for 6 or 8 months on some of these projects. Why my frustration is at the people that work for the town that are paid to support us. That's my frustration.
Yeah.
I feel the frustration.
And
too,
I
Pat.
can't believe. I mean, I bet down. I mean, I'm not going to speak for Carlton and Gina, but they're probably equally as frustrated. This is ridiculous that we have a $1.4 million project, and no one knows how much was spent, where the money went, if the contract was canceled or not. I mean, we look. It looks like a clown show. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Pat, I hear you very loud and clear. The reason why we had the meeting with Mr. Rulli today was because town manager heard us when we talked repeatedly to him, and I think made sure that meeting occurred today, which we got a lot of update that is not satisfying, but we do have information and a path forward.
But
Mhm.
Carlton, and again, this is not directed at you. We've been
know.
asking for that meeting to be set up with CED for 6 months.
Mhm.
And
I
it
think,
happened the day of our meeting today. I mean, and they threw an answer at us that said a woman from the state walked it and told us to put up a sign, and then we
Well,
voted.
that was one of the points that was made, yes.
So I
Right.
mean, it's totally frustrating, and the people that work for the town need to do their job, and they need to support us. My frustration is no way directed at anybody on this committee as a volunteer.
right.
I hear you loud and clear, and I think communications are going to get better, but it's going to take a lot of work because of
I
the
agree.
situation we're in.
And Bill, if we don't have the information, why are we even meeting? You know what I mean? That we just wasted. I mean, we wasted 2 hours of everybody's time tonight.
I don't consider it wasted.
I don't consider it wasted,
Long, yes. Wasted, not totally.
but all these meetings are long because they involve important financial decisions and they can't be rushed.
Well, we need the information to make those decisions. We have zero
Right.
information.
Pat, just to respond, I'm frustrated too, and we probably all are, especially with Stiles and Hart. I think things are changing with the new town manager. As Carlton said, we think the town manager heard us with all our questions and requested that CED have a meeting. As far as saying we don't know who was paid what, I differ on that because we know that, and Josh can get the exact amount from finance, but we know the only payments that I can recall, and I would approve the invoices, were Pat Brennan, the engineer, and Ramco. And I think there is a small reimbursement to the CED director for filing the deed for the 2 parcels. Other than that, we know who the money went to. We know it was a total of maybe, what did we say? 400.
595, I think.
We know
Right.
we know the money went to him, but we don't know why he didn't finish the project.
Right.
And we don't know if we paid for things that we didn't get, and we don't know how
We
much.
have not paid for things we didn't get. It was unit-based invoicing. They had a set number of yards of whatever. They had a number of feet of this. They had a number of feet of that. They documented, and they had a price for each of those, and those were documented in the invoices.
Mhm.
Okay, it'll be good to see all that stuff finally. So hopefully we have.
I'll send you one of the invoices so you see what was documented.
I'd like.
But we'll
to-
get the whole thing.
We
I've
asked
got them
Josh,
all.
we asked Josh for all the contracts, what was paid, what was not paid, and
Mhm.
the agreement to
Okay.
cancel the contract. So
Okay,
thank you.
Right.
you're welcome.
Yeah, just to say we don't know who it got paid to me, that just fuels all these people that are commenting, whoever watches our meeting, to just say, oh, that's another thing that the town has done that nobody can account for. Yes, we can account for the money that was spent. We can't account for who canceled the contract. But let's just wait and see when we get all the info from Josh to go further. But I agree. As I've said many times, I'm completely frustrated.
When
that.
did Bob say he'd get you those quarterly reports?
He just said he'd get them to us as soon as he
Yeah,
could.
he said it wouldn't be
But-
today.
But we're going to leave you. I think we've agreed that you will be the pusher on getting all that together.
Yep, yeah, that's fine. I was just trying to get a time frame if he needed to request them from the state or if he had copies or how he.
The town better have copies of all those communications.
Okay, then
He-
that should be
right,
something easy for him to get to me.
Right. And I've spoken to our state rep for his support and well, he'd support it. But if he could make contact with the grant folks for the state. That's why one of the reasons I asked for all the communication because of the land and water management folks are going against what they signed. I would like for Dennis, our state rep, to look into it, or our state senator. So hopefully by the April 22nd meeting, we would have updates before that. Was in Carlton, correct me if I'm wrong, that Bob Ruley was going to contact the town attorney to discuss this.
I think that was one of the actions he said he would do.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, any other discussions on anything? I know.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Second,
Second.
Maureen, is that you? I was looking down.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
Bill.
Patrick.
Oh, Pat. Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking down at.
I did not second that.
Okay, great. Thanks, Pat.
But I did not second it, but I can
Oh.
second it if you want me to.
No, it's been seconded. We just need to vote.
Okay. Any discussion? There's no discussion on adjourning. Josh, roll call.
Gina,
Yes.
Carlton,
Yes, thank you.
Bill,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved. The meeting's adjourned.
Okay. Thank
night.
you, everybody.